Good morning, everybody. I'm Eureka John, and you're at Eureka Street Crypto Hub, broadcasting live from Leander, Texas. It is 5:40 in the morning, November 16th. Hold on, let me change the date on this thing. I was broadcasting yesterday morning, and I was trying to use some new software, and I'm testing some things out, and I did an okay job at it. It had some hiccups and it had some lagging, and I ended up broadcasting on Twitter, YouTube, Float, and Theta all at once, which is amazing. But then I realized I didn't have my mic on, and I had to get out for work and all that stuff. So I was just like, man, are you serious? So that's why you didn't see an episode yesterday from me. This whole thing is my morning brain dump, and it's my video blog. So sometimes I'll screw up, and sometimes the show will be an utter and complete disaster, and that's just the way it rolls. And so yesterday was kind of a technical disaster. Sometimes it's a verbal disaster, and then So here I am today, still on episode 327. I did not count yesterday's episode. I do this every single morning, and this is my time for my morning crypto brain dump, my time to talk about crypto away from my friends, family, coworkers, and everything like that, to just get it out of my system before I have to go into daily life. And I read articles, I read books, I listen to podcasts all day, I get in DAO community calls and meetings and Discord groups and stuff like that, and I learn all the time about crypto. So this is my time to try to regurgitate some of that stuff I've learned, because when you learn, yes, you intake it and you put it in your brain and you put it in your memory and you try to absorb as much as you can. But how much have you really absorbed? And that can be tested by whenever you try to actually outwardly articulate what you've learned. So yeah, and sometimes I find out that I think I knew a concept, but when I try to explain it, it just comes out like a bowl of freaking, hot menudo soup. So, all right. So let's take a look at the old CoinGecko, see where we're at today. Things are a little down over the 7-day period, which is fine because things were blowing and going. I've been in here in crypto now since 2018, so I've seen some dips, some short bear markets like in March of 2020, and then in June of 2021, and then briefly in September. Those were dips. The real crash, happened in 2018, and I happened to get in right in the beginning of 2018. So I only know up in the crypto world. I wasn't around in 2017. I didn't know what was going on. Bitcoin to me, I thought was like video game money. I didn't I didn't know. So I've never seen like a major spike and a major crash in that way. I mean, even though in crypto, just in every day, you can go up and down 20%, sometimes even 40%, and it's enough to give somebody who's used to the stock market a total heart attack. But that's just how it is in crypto, man. Sit down, shut up, put on your seatbelt, and go along for the ride. Dollar cost average. Don't try to time the crypto market, especially. Maybe in the stock market you can, and maybe you're good at it in the stock market. But crypto market's a whole other ball game, man. So anyway, I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm not shilling anything. I might shill my own bags a little bit, but hey, why not, right? I'm not gonna try to I have any influence, man. Like I have any real followers. I mean, I do have a tight group of followers, but it's not enough to affect anything. And I appreciate those followers. And I'm not a teacher. None of this is instructional videos and stuff like that. This is just me kind of brain dumping in the morning, and you can listen in or what, and I'm not trying to sit here and educate you about some specific fundamental analysis on a cryptocurrency. Yeah, no. I'm just browsing through websites and checking stuff out, man. So, all right, let's go down here. Bitcoin's at 60,278. Man, if it hits below 60,000, that'll be kind of surprising for me, because it hasn't for a while, for like a couple weeks now. So it'd be interesting. I mean, actually, shoot, dude, if you have some extra money, I mean, it might be a good time to buy. I mean, not financial advice, but yeah, and Ethereum's at 4,258.93, Binance Coin 595.56. I mean, if you've had some stable coins sitting on the side of the pool over there, it might be time to kind of jump on in. That to me is what stable coins are. Tether is a stable coin sitting at $1, pegged to $1, always $1. USDC down here is a stable coin, 99 cents, and it kind of fluctuates a little bit, and it can kind of tell you the state of the market. If a stable coin is slightly over $1, it means they're highly sought after right at that moment. If it's slightly under $1, it means a lot of people are dumping stable coins right now and buying into crypto. So, yeah, I always liken stable coins to kind of like your neighborhood swimming pool, right? And you have Adult Swim. So first of all the kids are in the pool and they're playing and they're splashing around, playing Marco Polo, sharks and minnows, and dropping baby Ruths in the pool and pretending like it's poop, right? And then the lifeguard calls Adult Swim because it gets a little too chaotic, and every once in a while the adults need to just jump in and dip in and stuff like that and have the time to themselves without some kid freaking running up and splashing them and trying to jump on their back. So so they call Adult Swim. And so when the crypto market is a little rowdy sometimes, you want to move your holdings into stable coins. So you want to go into Adult Swim, you move your holdings into stablecoin, and you just let it sit there and chill for a while, right? And then once the waters start to settle and you can have some clarity and you can kind of see where you need to go and strategize a little bit after all the rowdy bull and bear runs and all that stuff, then you can kind of reevaluate and then pick which cryptos you want to jump back into, and you can cash out of stablecoins. So stablecoins are that place on the side of the swimming pool, the neighborhood swimming pool, where you can hold off from the volatile crypto market and put them in stablecoins where you need them. And so you don't have to cash them out in the bank for real fiat dollars, because then that creates a whole, you gotta wait, sometimes up to a week for a bank to do the transfer, and usually the centralized exchange will hit you pretty hard for that type of transfer and stuff like that as far as fees are concerned. And and then it gets on your bank statement and on your credit card statement and all that stuff, and it's just yeah, you don't want that type of event. So stablecoins are real easy to just jump in and out of the actual crypto market. So, and stablecoins too are kind of a great entry point for people just getting into crypto, because the APYs you can get by holding stablecoins on a lot of centralized exchanges like Celsius, BlockFi, there's a few others, Gemini, Kraken, and all that stuff. Those are centralized exchanges, and it means you don't have your keys to your crypto. But you can get some good APYs for that, and even in decentralized protocols like Aave and Compound and stuff like that, you'll still get a really good interest rate by locking up your stable coins, and you can even borrow against them to play around on the crypto market as well. So that's one benefit of stable coins, and like I said, it's pegged to $1, so it's equal to $1. So it's a really good entry place for somebody to jump in and start dabbling in the crypto world without them scared of the volatility, So just say, no, man, just put it in USDC. It's equal to $1. What is your bank giving you? 0.01, interest rate? Like, seriously, just put it in USDC. It's the same dollar almost, right? And then you're getting at least 4%, and then that's a hell of a lot better than 0.01% in my book. I don't know. But what do I know? I'm just a guy with a camera and an internet connection. Okay. Anyway, so let's move on. I just beat that stablecoin horse to death. Chainlink's at 29.78. Nothing's really up right now. Let me see if there is anything that's majorly performing here. Where's large movers, recently added coins, categories. I can't remember how to sort this by let's see, filter. Hashing out. Okay. by performance. I know there's a way. I just don't really do this all that much. So this is CoinGecko, and it's kind of like one of those that show all the listed coins and stuff like that. And you can arrange them in a lot of different ways. And you can arrange them by smart contract platforms, exchange-based tokens, decentralized finance right here, stablecoins, centralized exchanges, Binance, smart chain ecosystem, Solana ecosystem. So by ecosystem, what they kind of mean is, okay, there's layer 1 and layer 2 blockchains, and there's centralized exchanges and decentralized exchanges. Centralized exchanges, you don't own the keys to your crypto, they own it for you, but the benefit of that is if you're trying to swap things around or transfer money around and stuff like that, it's really cheap to do so, and because they absorb a lot of that cost. But you don't hold the keys to your crypto, and they say not your keys, not your crypto. So a lot of times during major bull runs, Coinbase is notorious for this, but for like dropping out, and not being the website down and stuff like that. And there's no backdoor to get into it, no smart contract you can go to on Etherscan in order to get to it and everything like that. So you're at the mercy of the centralized exchange. Although a lot of the centralized exchanges are pretty reputable, it's just frustrating. You're in the middle of some kind of bull run and you want to move things around, and then the exchange is down. And like I said, Coinbase is almost like clockwork. It's like an ongoing joke. Decentralized exchanges, you hold the keys to your crypto. You have complete control over it. If the website is down, you can go through the back door in the smart contract if you know how to do that. And it's pretty rad stuff. But the problem is whenever you are engaging in locking up your for instance, locking up your DAI as collateral, or your USDC as collateral, or your Ethereum, you have to pay the transaction fees in order to get that done. And a lot of times now, especially on layer 1, which is Ethereum, these are layer 1 blockchains, the base layer: Ethereum, Solana, Polkadot, Binance, Cosmos, Bitcoin. All these are layer 1 blockchains, and these are the bottom layers. And Ethereum is notoriously expensive right now because a lot of people want to use it, and the gas fees are an auction-based system. So the higher you pay for your transaction fee, the faster your transaction will go through, and there are a lot of people competing for that. However, that gas fee is necessary because it prevents DOS attack, denial of service attacks, or direct denial of service attacks, which is when bad actors sit there and try to ping a server through a web page thousands of times in order to try to overload the server and crash it down. Why do people do this? I don't know. They're kind of a-holes, but that's basically is what's happening. So that's why a gas fee makes those types of attacks, which are really common, super expensive to do. So it adds security to the network. There's a lot of layer 1 blockchains out there. Ethereum is the big bad boy, the big dog in the field, and Bitcoin, of course. But Ethereum and Bitcoin to me are like apples and oranges. They're not the same thing. Then there's layer 2 scaling solutions, which are on top of layer 1, and they're on Ethereum right now because Ethereum is the one that is dealing with the most of the high gas fees and stuff like that, and making it unaffordable for the average person to be able to do stuff. Like right now, I have things locked in Ethereum layer 1 protocols on Aave and Alchemix and stuff like that I can't, and Bancor, that I can't really do anything with, because it's just locked in there. And the amount of money that I have, I'm not a big baller, like I'm not a shot caller, 20-inch blades and all that stuff. I'm just your average guy who has dollar cost average in my paycheck, and I've been putting stuff into these staking platforms and smart contract platforms in order to borrow against and stuff like that on Aave and Bancor, providing liquidity, earning transactions from transaction fees from those. But the thing is now the gas fees are getting to be so much that if I were to pull out of those contracts, the gas fees in order to do so would take so much of what I'm pulling out that it's not even worth it right now at this point. So I need to wait for gas fees to go down once Ethereum is fully merging to become ETH 2.0, and becoming a proof of stake system. So hopefully that'll do something good for the gas fees it's supposed to. And then B, It's making me save, because the worst thing about investors and stuff like that is they get restless, And if people would just sit down, shut up, and put their seatbelt on, and not sit there and constantly try to move crap around, they would probably win in the long run. So I guess that this is like a silver lining to this gas fee issue. Is I would have normally moved stuff around, and I'm not, because it's too expensive for me to move around on Ethereum Layer 1. Now, I am moving stuff up to Layer 2 platforms, which is Polygon right here, which is Arbitrum, which is XDAI here. There's Optimism and stuff like that. And I'm moving things over to those platforms so I can play around. So I do have a significant chunk of my investment in Layer 1, and I'm not touching that. I can't touch it. And then anything new that I'm adding, I'm putting on Layer 2 so I can play with it and have some fun with it. And then I'm also doing stuff over on the Avalanche platform. So Avalanche is another blockchain, Layer 1 blockchain, but it is meant to address these issues of scalability and stuff like that, and speed that Ethereum is lacking in right now. All the roads are leading to Ethereum, but a lot of these other blockchains are being built along with Layer 2 systems to supplement what is going on. A lot of people say, well, it's an Ethereum killer. No, the Ethereum killer is kind of an outdated word now, right? I don't think there's going to be an Ethereum killer, but there will be other blockchains that help with this niche that has opened with Ethereum right now, and Avalanche is one of those. Cardano has been notorious for trying to compete with Ethereum. Solana is trying to compete with Ethereum. Binance Smart Chain has been trying to compete with Ethereum. But they all have bridges to Ethereum. They all have EVM compatible machines, that code and stuff like that. EVM means Ethereum Virtual Machine. They all have code that's compatible with Ethereum in some way. So they're not really they're not going to be an Ethereum killer, but they can provide some niche services. For instance, now, whenever I'm dollar cost averaging into crypto, I've dollar cost average, I still do in Ethereum and Bitcoin, but now I'm dollar cost averaging into Avalanche because I can bridge from Ethereum to Avalanche really cheaply, or I can just go directly to Avalanche and I can play around on some pretty cool dApps, There's some pretty cool stuff being built on Avalanche. I've been jumping in. I've been playing around in some high APY stuff. I wouldn't recommend this. Been playing around with the smart coin. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. They kind of one of those things where they're kind of moving. The community is moving around to different layers and stuff like that. And if you don't keep up with it, you could lose pretty badly. But I don't know. But there's some other dApps. Here's their Trader Joe XYZ type of swapping platform, and you can provide liquidity on here if you want to earn liquidity and do some liquidity mining. And by that, what liquidity mining is like Uniswap, Trader Joe here, QuickSwap on the Polygon network. These are exchange platforms, right? And this is a decentralized exchange. And the premise behind decentralized exchanges is in contrast to centralized exchanges. They have order books, and they look for incoming orders to fill with several other orders in order to be able to complete trades, and everything is done in a centralized order book. Decentralized exchanges, they're done with automatic market makers, AMMs, and automatic market makers are just basically pools. And anybody can add to this pool or create their own pool to provide liquidity. So for instance, this pool here there's the Avalanche token and there's the time token. So you can put in equal 50% Avalanche and 50% time token. And so you're providing a pool for which people who are coming in to do trades right here can just jump in, and they say, well, I have 2 Avalanche and I would like to trade it for time. So let's see here, TIME, and here's the time token. So right here, so 2 Avalanche right there, and so they'll get 0.02 time for that, and then they will click that button and they will get the time token. And what happens is that transaction from the where you hit the click one is it goes in here and it goes into the Avalanche time pool and it makes the trade because it has the funds available right there because somebody has supplied that. Now, what benefit do you get from supplying that liquidity pool? Well, you get the transaction fee because every single time anybody does a swap or a trade right here, it incurs a small transaction fee. And if you are providing the liquidity to this pool to be able to make that happen, you get a percentage of that transaction fee according to what you've allocated into that pool. So what your percentage of that pool is and how much liquidity you've provided. And it can be a really cool situation. However, it does open the door for impermanent loss, which is an entire other rabbit hole that you could totally go down. But the basics of impermanent loss is if you if one of the value of one of the tokens completely goes up or goes down, it has to compensate somehow, and it pulls from the one of the other tokens, and you obtain a loss in a way, and it's impermanent because once things start to balance out, if the price volatility returns back to if the price returns back to normal, or if things kind of equal out again, it's impermanent. It's not a permanent loss. But if you pull out at that moment, you could find yourself losing quite a bit of money of one of the tokens. And say for instance, one goes to zero pretty much. You're going to lose. The pool will try to balance itself out, and you're going to lose the other one that still has value. And it kind of sucks. So yeah, that's kind of a problem that a lot of different projects have been working on, as this impermanent loss. So basically, I'm not going to go into all that because even me trying to explain it is kind of sticky. I understand it, but like I said at the beginning, trying to articulate this stuff sometimes gets a little challenging. So that's just the basics of it. So enter into these liquidity pools at your own risk. Like I said, there are some automatic market makers, AMM, DEXs, decentralized exchanges, trying to approach this issue. Like Bancor has single-sided liquidity, which is pretty rad. But that's for another day. But yeah, so look at this APR from contributing to this pool, 21.08%. That's a hell of a lot better than if you are just trying to keep it in a bank, right? So there's a lot of things you can do. And then there's yield farming. So you can stake right here. Right here. So earn, stake, and double reward farms to earn Joe plus bonus AVAX rewards. So a lot of times in order to bootstrap a lot of this stuff, you'll get the bonus rewards of whatever type of project you're in, and some of those bonus rewards can be pretty handsome and stuff like that. But yeah, there's a lot of dApps written on Avalanche right now. A lot of dApps on Polygon, a lot of dApps on Arbitrum, and it's super affordable to use. And one of these dApps that I found on Avalanche is Wonderland.money. And let's see here. Wonderland is kind of it's a fork of Olympus DAO, and if Olympus DAO is on Ethereum layer 1, it's a pretty cool dApp, and basically, Olympus DAO is hard to explain in layman's terms because what was that movie? It's complex. I can't remember what it was. It was some stoner movie. It's complex. That's all he would ever say when he was talking about. I think it was Nicaragua. What movie was that? Oh man, it's on the top tip of my tongue. Is it Half Baked? I think so. I'm sitting there talking to myself like, is it Half Baked? So anyway, it's complex. But Olympus DAO helps to alleviate the idea of people jumping in, because whenever a lot of projects start out, the APY is extremely large, and 82,000, for instance, 82,000% APY. How do they afford that? Well, a lot of that is VC funded, and venture capitalists is what VC stands for. And there's a lot of initial pump in there trying to get people to jump in and use the app. And so you have a lot of speculators coming into a lot of these platforms that are just starting out. And then people will jump in and try to pull out as much APY as they can. And then when they get bored of it, they'll go to another DApp that has higher APY, or the APY on this one particular DApp will get lower and lower and lower because they're running out of funds, and then they have to start paying for itself, and then they have to start putting in transaction fees and things like that. So the party gets over really quick sometimes in some of these dApps. And so these people end up pulling out their liquidity out of these pools, and then they move on to the next one. So what is one way to prevent that from people just instantly pulling out once the party kind of is over, is for the dApp itself to buy those liquidity tokens back from the person providing the liquidity. So whenever you provide liquidity in these liquidity pools, you get a representation of your position in that liquidity pool, and that's called an LP token. What Olympus DAO does is they buy back, and as a bond, they buy those LP tokens and lock those LP tokens on their platform, and so they're holding the liquidity pool. So people can't just leave and migrate and just gonna go on to someplace else once they get bored, because the platform itself now owns all their own liquidity tokens, so they're not going to rug pull you. That's what rug pulling is whenever a bunch of devs or a bunch of people or everybody just suddenly leaves and pulls out their liquidity. They pull the rug on the bag holders left that are still left around there. So it's real hard to relax a little bit in this space, because you have to kind of follow where a lot of these people are going, and that is the issue I had with this smarter coin right now. Is it started with a smart coin, now it's at the smarter coin, now they're going over to a Binance Smart Chain. So you can make money on these types of platforms, but you have to constantly follow and keep up to date. You can't just like put it in there and sit back and relax and shut up and hang around. So no, you have to follow that. So Ohm kind of prevents that type of behavior. And then, so Wonderland here is a fork of Ohm. Since Ohm and Olympus DAO is on the Ethereum blockchain, it's kind of expensive. So to do anything on, I mean, I have stuff sitting on Ohm, so Olympus DAO. So let's go over here to Olympus DAO. I'll just show you real quick, and it's on the Ethereum platform, so it costs. Right now with the gas fees the way they are, it can cost significantly to put things to stake them in the platform. So it's kind of a whale's game right now. But it's a great platform. I love what they're doing. The Bankless guys called it DeFi 2.0. The Alchemix Scoopy Triples guy. It definitely knows what he's talking about, calls it DeFi 2.0. So yeah, it's the way a lot of things I think are going in order to prevent this whole kind of impermanent loss and this rug pulling situation happening, and the moving around of liquidity that's happening in the dApp space. But yeah, so this is what Olympus is, and they have Olympus Pro, so dApps can now integrate this type of technology into theirs. So say for instance you want to do a new dApp on a layer 2 solution or on layer 1, and you can use the Olympus Pro type of technology and put it in your dApp. So maybe Aave would want to put Olympus Pro in there, although Aave doesn't really have to deal with that type of situation quite as much. But Olympus is building a community-owned, decentralized financial infrastructure to bring more stability and transparency for the world. Because right now the DeFi space is not too stable right now. So I don't want to go down the Olympus DAO rabbit hole. I have talked about Olympus DAO before. We're bringing protocol-owned liquidity. So that's what I'm talking about. The protocol buys back the LP tokens from the people who are putting in liquidity to these pools, so nothing happens to those pools and you don't get rug pulled. So learn about our Olympus Pro bonds as a service protocol. So if you want to start up your own DeFi protocol, you can subscribe to this bonds as a service protocol to keep your liquidity pools going. So treasury revenue, bonds, and LP fees. Bond sales and LP fees increase treasury revenue and lock in liquidity and help control the Ohm supply. So yeah, the LP fees and the LP tokens, they go into the treasury, and treasury inflow is used to increase treasury balance and back outstanding tokens. So that's how the Ohm tokens are backed. They're not backed by a dollar, so it's not really a stable coin in that way. So it creates some stable backing, and then staking rewards Ohms compounds yield automatically through a treasury-backed currency with intrinsic value. And so, yeah, it's sustainable staking APY. So, a lot, like I've talked about, a lot of these APYs on a lot of these other dApps that you can provide liquidity for seem amazing and completely so handsome, right? But only for a time being until that VC money runs out, and then they have to start paying the bills. And so this is a way to kind of alleviate that type of situation. And so Wonderland, back to Avalanche, Wonderland is a fork of Olympus DAO, but on the Avalanche blockchain. And so now transactions are cheap. You don't have to pay those Ethereum gas fees, and they're fast. Avalanche, I don't think it's as secure of a blockchain as Ethereum. So there's a trade-off there. It is another type of blockchain, but it just depends on your risk factor. If you're an institution, are you going to want to use Avalanche? I don't know. I'm not an institution, so I don't know. But those are some things to consider, because Ethereum is pretty dang secure, and pretty dang decentralized. I don't know about Avalanche. See, the way you can go look at that is you can look at the blockchain explorers. You can look at their validators. You can see how long their validators have been online, what's been slashed, and stuff like that. You can see how with the variety of all their different validators worldwide, where they are. If are the validators sponsored, but like, are they a validator for as a company? Like, for instance, Theta Blockchain, they have validators from Google and Samsung, and a lot of these Sony and stuff like that, and MGM Studios. Which is great, those are some solid names, but that's kind of a consolidation of power, And these are a lot of things to consider whenever you're looking into blockchains. Is their validators? Is it easy to run a validator for that blockchain? For instance, that's a criticism of Solana. It's so difficult for your average person to spin up a validator that it kind of centralizes power. And they say that's the benefit of running Ethereum, is because anybody can run Ethereum, even though I don't have 32 Ethereum. So yes, it is still, there's a lot of things to consider. How difficult is it to run an Avalanche validator node? I don't know. But different blockchains have different levels of difficulty as far as running validator nodes, and that's important because you want a lot of people to run nodes on your blockchain, because it decentralizes your blockchain. It increases security, and that is what a blockchain is selling, is a secure space to put truth on. That's all a blockchain is. It's a spot to put your truth, and it's a secure place for that, knowing that it can't be changed. And you're selling a store of truth, and that's what Bitcoin is. It is by far the most secure place to put your truth. And in the future, what a lot of Bitcoiners are banking on, maybe not necessarily that'll be your everyday transaction medium, but that it will be the place for nation states to store their truth. And that's why Bitcoin may be very valuable in the future. So anyway, so back to this, Wonderland is a dApp that's kind of a fork of Olympus DAO, kind of runs on the same type of principles, but it allows you to do so on the Avalanche blockchain, which makes it a lot cheaper. So yeah, you stake on the Olympus on the Wonderland dApp, and you stake your time token, and you get back this memo token, which is memory, memo, and so that's what memo stands for, is memory. I like the whole play on stuff like that. So obviously I don't have a lot staked on here, but because I'm testing it out. But and you get some pretty healthy APYs. And it compounds on itself. Apparently APY is 85,000. I'm not sure how they get that number. Like I said, I haven't gone deep enough into all this stuff, but it's some pretty interesting concepts that are going on here, and a lot of the parallel concepts of the whole bonding of liquidity and of the LP tokens and stuff like that, and of the fees going back into the treasury. And instead of calling it bonding, here they call it minting, and you get a discount if you mint and on buying further tokens and stuff like that. Probably explaining this horribly, but just go check it out. Kind of poke around the docs and stuff like that, and get a feel for it. I think this right here on the Avalanche platform, this DApp is worth looking into. So yeah, I'm still playing around with it myself, but yeah, check it out. I would definitely recommend at least kicking the tires. So yeah, that being said, yeah, fun episode. I think I enjoy talking about this stuff. I don't even know if anybody jumped on the live stream because I did not pull it up at all. But yeah, all right, hold on. So hold on. All right, so hold on. I need to say a proper goodbye. Anyway, I don't know if anybody jumped on my live stream, so sorry if I missed you. Give me a thumbs up if you like this whole format of me just kind of shooting the shite of crypto in the morning, kind of just a brain dump, a stream of consciousness, what you want to call it, whatever. But this is fun stuff for me. I wake up and I just kind of poke around on stuff that I learned. I have a backlog of stuff I need to talk about. So some of the stuff might be outdated by the time I actually get to it. I want to talk about Lex DAO. I want to talk about LexPunk DAO, and then because I recorded an interview with one of the guys from Lex DAO over the weekend, and it was a really amazing interview. I'm gonna see if I can pull out some snippets from that as well, because there was some really good gems in there. I would love to play for you guys. All right, man. Well, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. All right, later.